Hi everyone, and welcome back to DejaB0226. I want to say thank you to my subscribers, and those that have been watching. Today, I will be sharing the top 5 creepy facts about history. And like always, I will try to post new content 1 to 2 times a week. So, if you're a fan of creepy, scary, and history stories, I believe I have it here. With all that said, sit back, relax, and stay away from those dark corners. Thank you. Warning. The following video may contain graphic content that some viewers may find disturbing. Full discretion is advised.
Number 5. Human remains were once curious ingredients in historical medicine. From the Renaissance through the Victorian era, various parts of the deceased body were believed to possess healing properties. Here are some intriguing examples. During the 16th and 17th centuries, mummies were considered almost magical. These preserved Egyptian bodies were plundered from tombs and used in tinctures or plasters to treat bleeding, venomous bites, bruising, and joint pain. Unfortunately, demand exceeded supply, leading to the creation of fake mummies from lepers, beggars, and even camels. The skulls were ground into powder and combined with chocolate. Thomas Willis, a 17th-century scientist, created a concoction for bleeding using powdered human skulls and cocoa. King Charles II of England also had his personal tincture called the King's Drops, containing human skull in alcohol. It was believed to be effective against gout, dropsy, and various fevers. They also would use brains to cure epilepsy. John French, a physician, described a process for making a brain tincture. Take the brains of a young man who died violently, mash them, steep them in wine, and let them ferment in horse dung for 6 months before distilling. This remedy followed the like cures like theory, where skulls and brains were considered potent for treating head-related illnesses. While these practices may seem bizarre today, they reflect the historical context and beliefs of their time. Fortunately, modern medicine has moved away from such practices, relying on more evidence-based approaches. Number 4. Tarrare, also spelled terror, was an extraordinary French showman and soldier in the late 18th century. His insatiable appetite and bizarre eating habits set him apart from ordinary mortals. Let's delve into the peculiar tale of this enigmatic character. Early life and unusual appetite. Tarrare was born around 1772 near Lyon, France. He exhibited an extraordinary hunger. His parents struggled to provide for him, and as a teenager, he was expelled from his family home due to his insatiable cravings. Tarrare's appetite knew no bounds. He could devour vast amounts of meat without feeling satisfied. He roamed France in the company of prostitutes and thieves. His peculiar abilities caught the attention of a traveling charlatan, who made him the warm-up act. During his performances, he swallowed a variety of objects, including corks, stones, live animals, and an entire basket of apples. When the War of the First Coalition began, Tarrare joined the French Revolutionary Army. Even when his military ration was quadrupled, it failed to satisfy his immense appetite. Desperate, he resorted to eating anything available, including gutter scraps and rubbish heaps. Tarrare was hospitalized due to exhaustion. He became the subject of medical experiments. In these trials, he'd consumed a meal intended for 15 people or people that had an appetite for something that a lot of people wouldn't eat today. Tarrare would consume live cats, snakes, lizards, and puppies. He would swallow eels whole without chewing. Remarkably, apart from his eating habits, they stated that he showed no signs of mental illness. But I beg to differ. But General Alexander de Beauharnais saw potential in Tarrare's abilities and employed him as a courier. The general had a plan. He would use Tarrare to swallow documents, pass through enemy lines, and retrieve them from his stool. But unfortunately, on his first mission, he was captured by Prussian forces, beaten severely, and subjected to a mock execution. Before Tarrare's tragic end, he agreed to various procedures that might cure his appetite. These treatments included laudanum, tobacco pills, wine vinegar, and soft-boiled eggs, all in vain. He continued to scavenge for offal and even attempted to drink the blood of fellow patients. But after being suspected of eating a 1-year-old toddler, he was expelled from the hospital. Tarrare reappeared years later in Versailles, suffering from severe tuberculosis. His life ended after a prolonged bout of exudative diarrhea. Tarrare's story remains a haunting glimpse into the mysteries of human appetite and resilience. Number 3. The Hinterkaifeck Murders, a chilling tale that continues to haunt the annals of German history. In 1922, on an isolated farmstead in Bavaria known as Hinterkaifeck, a gruesome and unsolved crime unfolded. The farm belonged to the Gruber family, farmer Andreas, his wife Casilia, their adult daughter Victoria, and her 2 children, 7-year-old Casilia and 2-year-old Joseph. A maid named Maria Baumgartner also lived with them. In the days leading up to the murders, Andreas noticed eerie happenings: footsteps in the snow leading from the woods to the house, a mysterious newspaper, and a missing house key. He shared these oddities with friends but never reported them to the police. Interestingly, the previous maid had quit 6 months earlier, convinced that the farm was haunted. She heard footsteps in the attic and felt constantly watched. Andreas dismissed her concerns, tragically. The town grew concerned when young Casilia didn't attend school on April 1st. Neighbors noticed the family's absence from church and the accumulating mail at the post office. On April 4th, a search party led by Lorenz Schlittenbauer, who had a past relationship with widowed Victoria, made a horrifying discovery. Elder Casilia suffered multiple blows to the head and signs of strangulation. Andreas had a shredded face, cheekbones protruding from ragged flesh. Victoria's skull was shattered, her face struck with a blunt object. Young Casilia's jaw was shattered, her face and neck slashed. Maria and little Joseph were found inside the farmhouse, both victims of blows to the head and face. Over 100 suspects were investigated, yet no one was charged. Was it a family member? A vengeful neighbor? Or perhaps something more otherworldly? Some even speculate that the killer was a ghost or malevolent spirit. But in my opinion, it was a live being. But who? We still don't know, and I don't believe we will ever find out. The Hinterkaifeck murders remain a haunting enigma, forever etched in the shadows of that isolated farmstead. Number 2. The guillotine, infamous for its role during the French Revolution, is a morbid yet fascinating device. Let's explore some intriguing facts about it. Contrary to popular belief, Dr. Joseph-Ignace Guillotin did not invent the guillotine. He advocated for pain-free methods of execution and worked with Dr. Antoine Louis and Tobias Schmidt to design the first prototype. The guillotine was credited as being invented by Dr. Louis, leading to another nickname, Louisette. Guillotin's family was so embarrassed by their name's association with decapitation that they changed it. Before the guillotine, the British used a decapitation device called the Halifax gibbet since the Middle Ages. The Halifax gibbet required cutting a rope for the blade to descend, but complications arose due to its crescent shape. The famous French figure Marie Antoinette was sentenced to death and executed via guillotine blade right in the middle of Place de la Concorde. The guillotine was seen as the great equalizer during the French Revolution. It swiftly dispatched both peasants and aristocrats, adhering to the principles of liberté, égalité et fraternité. Guillotine executions were major public spectacles, drawing crowds to witness the gruesome act. Which I never understood how people could watch this and think it was a right thing to do. But I digress. It became a chilling form of entertainment during the Reign of Terror. Another chilling fact about the guillotine is that it was turned into a popular children's toy. Miniature versions allowed kids to mimic the execution process, quite macabre. In summary, the guillotine's dark history continues to captivate our imagination, blending horror and fascination.
Before we continue, please don't forget to like and share this video, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and join this crazy roller coaster ride. Thanks. And let's continue.
Number 1. Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean ride has a fascinating and eerie history. Let's delve into the spine-chilling details. When Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean was built in 1967, the design team wanted to create a realistic and convincing experience. However, the faux skeletons available at the time were deemed unconvincing. So, they took an unconventional approach. They reached out to the UCLA Medical Center and obtained actual human skeletons from the anatomy department. These grisly props were used to create the skeletal pirates strewn throughout the attraction. Constructing the ride involved close collaboration between various departments, including the machine shop, animatronics team, and sculpting and wardrobe departments. The entire project cost a whopping $15 million, equivalent to about $106 million today, which was as much as the rest of the park combined. Walt Disney himself supervised the creation of this iconic ride, and he was particularly pleased that guests would hear something new and different with each ride-through. Over time, as fake skeleton technology improved, a new generation of Imagineers replaced the real human skeletons. These original skeletons were later returned to their countries of origin and given a proper burial. However, rumors persist that some of the real skeletons were never replaced, leading to speculation and discussion among Disney fans. So next time you sail through the bayou and encounter those eerie skeletal pirates, remember that some of them once had a more macabre origin.